Sensitivity is about first understanding the basic similarities in all people and being comfortable with the characteristics that make us different.
Sensitivity really comes when we internalize this information and it becomes a natural part of how we treat people.
I think sensitivity really occurs when you see the person as the person getting on your bus, and you don't break it down in terms of what type of disability this person may have, what their limitations may be, what their abilities may be, but it's just a person getting on your bus.
Some of the assumptions that people make about me when I get on a bus or when I'm out in public is that I'm going to need their assistance in every way, shape, and form, which isn't always the case.
The most important thing for operators to know about being sensitive to people with disabilities is that, oftentimes we're just trying to do our daily life, what we need to do, go to work, go shopping, whatever it is. And it's not necessarily that we want special consideration, it's just, we just want to be able to conduct our daily business.
The one thing that I wish every driver would realize about people with disabilities is that every disability is different. Every single one.
I think it's important to treat people with respect and not talking down to them. And
respect to me is honor. When you honor somebody the way you would want yourself to be honored, you honor them.
When you treat a person with respect, that shows.
You have a person who's in charge of a vehicle that's got X amount of people on it, and basically has their lives in his hand. And this can be a very stressful job, I understand. I mean, you have a huge machine, there's traffic all around you, and yeah. So there should be respect on that level, and then the driver should have respect for the passengers because it's good. For one thing, it's good customer service.
This video is a basic guide for promoting positive and effective communication between operators and customers with disabilities. As a bus operator, you are an ambassador for your transit system. Your excellent customer service will result in a positive experience for your passengers. It will also make your job easier. This video explains how best to serve customers with disabilities, incorporating the transportation provisions of the Americans with Disabilities Act. By using these tips for good customer service and safety, you and your passengers will have a safe and enjoyable trip.
I know what I'm doing, and it's really nice when they'll be patient, open-minded, and allow you to do things yourself.
Over here in this country is actually very different, and you take these people as a very valuable person and with respect, and being around people with disabilities every single day have taught me good things and kind of changed my view on how to see people with disabilities or how to help them out, and I just love my job. That's what I do, and I just love it.
Hi there, sweetie. Does she need help?
Why don't you answer?
Do you need help?
No, thank you.
Pause the video. Select a partner and discuss the following questions. What did the operator do well? What could the operator have done differently? After a few minutes of discussion, begin the video again. If you are a self-learner, jot down your answers on the form provided. Effective communication with people with disabilities should follow the basic rules of customer service and good manners.
Hi there, sweetie.
Though the operator seemed genuinely interested in providing a positive experience to Jill, he failed to respect her. First, by treating her like a child, calling her sweetie, and then by speaking to her companion instead of speaking directly to her. Effective communication means speaking clearly in a normal tone, volume, and speed, unless customers request otherwise, and speaking directly to the customers with disabilities, not to their companions.
I remember operator actually telling me she didn't realize that this gentleman was blind, and so she's asking, or he asked what bus she was, and she's like, can't you see? And he just calmly said no, and you feel like a big heel because you don't know. So we're not here to judge anyone, we're just here to help.
When the stops aren't called out, what happens is that I begin to lose orientation about where I am. If I pass up my bus stop, on my particular route home, if I pass up my stop, the next one is just beyond a truly major intersection.
If I pass their stop up, that's a hard thing for them if I pass their stop. And I've done it, it's happened a couple times. And they get so outraged, and I'm thinking, why are you upset? Well, for them to go back another block or two is a big production. In those days, when I was learning this, they didn't have the curbs where it was easy access to go from sidewalk to sidewalk, that cut-out driveway type curves. So they had to navigate bouncing down into the street and trying to get up on the next curb. So it was a big deal for them if I missed their stops.
When the driver doesn't call the stops, or at least the major stops, all of a sudden I'm a couple miles from where I need to be, and then I have to wait for another bus going back the other direction or walk, and sometimes it's hard for me to walk 10 blocks or so.
I'm an animal person, I'm a dog person. So I love dogs. And it's tough not to pet a blind dog, a guide dog, as they come in, because they're so cute, but you have to keep your hands off of them, and that's the hardest. That's frustrating for me, because I want to pet them. Oh, you cute thing, you. But you're not supposed to touch them, they're on the job.
A common misperceptions about dogs is how much the dog knows. Like, the dog doesn't know which bus to get on, they don't know where to get off, they don't know where I'm going. They follow basic left, right, forward commands, and it's always up to the individual to be oriented and to know exactly where you're going next and to instruct the dog. The dog's job is to keep me from falling down steps or running into poles. A couple things that operators can think about is, number one, to pull up to the curb when possible. So if it's not possible to pull right up to the curb, then it's very helpful if they tell me. The other thing that operators can do to make things move a little more smoothly is that when I'm standing in line, I don't always know, for instance, if someone's getting off the bus. The policy is generally let people alight from the bus before others board. And so if they would just say people coming out, or something along those lines to let me know that I shouldn't step in right away, that's usually helpful. And then when it is clear for me to step in, they can say step on that. And so those are just really little things that operators can do to make the whole experience go smoother and faster, which is one of the things that I know they're concerned about in terms of keeping their schedule.
Good morning. The step's about 9 inches up and you're about a foot away.
There are a lot of people who ride the bus who make that choice because they're wanting to not get stuck in traffic, or they want to save on the cost of fuel, or they don't want to have to pay for parking, and so they make the choice to ride the bus. For me, it's not a choice. It's my mode of transportation, and it's significant enough to me that all of the major decisions in my life are made around the availability of public transportation.
Can you
tell me where to catch the 74?
It's right over there. Oh, excuse me. As soon as you step off the bus, it's 1 block to your right and a half a block to your left.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Pause the video. Select a partner and discuss the following questions. What did the operator do well? What could the operator have done differently? After a few minutes of discussion, begin the video again. If you are a self-learner, jot down your answers on the form provided. Never touch or talk to a service animal without asking the handler's permission. Service animals are working animals. Also remember that not all service animals are dogs. You cannot require special identification for a service animal, inquire about a customer's disability, or ask for a demonstration of the tasks that the animal has been trained to perform. You may, however, ask if the animal the customer is bringing on board is a pet or a service animal, and you may ask what tasks the animal performs. Operator or passenger allergies or fear of animals are not valid reasons for denying a ride to a customer using a service animal. Passengers with service animals cannot be required to sit in a specified area. A person with a disability cannot be asked to remove his or her service animal from the bus unless the animal is not under his or her control, or the animal poses a direct threat to the health and safety of others.
Sometimes when there's somebody sitting in priority seating and I'm having a bad day and feel like I might need it, I won't say anything because matter of personal pride maybe. But there have been times it's been so bad that I could not stand, and it was a longer bus ride, and I have had to ask somebody to move.
You find that in some situations, the drivers feel it's an inconvenience on their part to sort of provide the accessibility that the rider would need, like a rider in a wheelchair who needs a ramp. Some drivers, I've heard situations of some drivers just driving off because they don't want to have to bother with putting down the lift, and it's an inconvenience for them, and so they just keep riding, and that could be their parent, that could be their sibling out there waiting for the bus.
We're not out there to make their job harder. We just out here trying to live our lives and trying to go about our business and try to do things like everybody else is doing.
Well, when someone doesn't want to move from the priority seating, I point to the sign behind them.
Excuse me, ma'am. Could you move? Could you move, please? Thank you. Good morning. Is this your bus?
Yes, it is. Can you please lower the ramp?
Pause the video. Select a partner and discuss the following questions. What did the operator do well? What could the operator have done differently? After a few minutes of discussion, begin the video again. If you are a self-learner, jot down your answers on the form provided. All operators serve customers with disabilities. Recognizing that a person has a disability may be easy with some and not with others. People may have visible and invisible disabilities, but neither dictate the assistance they might need from you. When a person with a disability boards your bus and needs to sit in a priority seat or occupy a wheelchair securement location, you must ask individuals sitting in those locations to vacate their seats. A person may refuse to move from priority seating when asked. If this happens, follow your transit agency's policy regarding this issue. Since the driver was prepared with a pen and paper, he easily addressed a potentially awkward situation.
I've had dogs, cats, birds, rats, a number of animals I didn't think they used as service animals. The first time someone came on the bus with a bird, I just looked. I didn't know what to do or to say, or I can't tell them that that's not an animal that would provide some sort of guide for them. I can't say that, so it's just surprising, or it was surprising.
It's important to know that the animal's behavior is always under the control of the handler. And so really the bus operator should have absolutely nothing to do with the service animal at all.
The lifts worked infrequently at best. The equipment was very complicated mechanically, and it would break down more than it was up. And it would, some result of that was I'd be waiting at bus stops, and the bus driver would come up and say to me that the lift's not working and proceed to go on his route.
It's very important that as a driver, I ask the person, are they ready to go up or down on the lift, so that I know that they're fully secured, holding the safety rails, and it's important for them to let me know when they're not.
The procedures that have been developed by a lot of people in the transportation system are there for a purpose. They had generally tried to cover just about every situation, and I would prefer that they take it seriously and follow it, and they'll make their day good, and they'll make the person with the disability, they'll make their day good.
Well, basically you check your lift before you leave the property every morning. And then when you go to use your lift and it doesn't work, you'll call the radio dispatcher, and it might have been something that has gone wrong with the bus, like the needle has gone down a little bit, or it could be a power failure. They do happen, but you call the radio, you let them know that your lift's not working, and they bring you another bus.
Know things like what bus it is. So if there's a sign with the number or letter of the bus or route destination, I need some kind of verbal information about what that is.
The bus is packed. I can't get any more people on board. And we're having to stop at every stop, and people have to wiggle their way off the bus, and then new people want to get on the bus. I can deal with that. It makes time, the schedule just goes out the window. But the worst part of that kind of day is when I have to turn people away and I can't let them on board. And when I get a person in a wheelchair that's waiting and there's no room to put them, that's tough. That's really tough.
Occasionally, situations will arise that are out of the control of the bus operator. These situations may be related to weather, bus malfunction, mobility aids that are difficult to secure, disruptive passengers, service animals that are not under the control of their handlers, and fare payment. The participants should pause the video here and locate their agency's policies that address these types of situations. If this is being taught in a classroom setting, the trainers can have this information handy. For self-paced learners, this may require speaking to a dispatcher or supervisor. Once the policies are located, consider the following questions. Do these policies adequately address assisting people with disabilities in these situations? If not, what changes can bus operators recommend to transit agencies to better serve people with disabilities?
I feel as though I am an ambassador for my transit system.
Good customer service means you care enough to do the best that you can to meet their needs and do your job at the same time.
Good customer service is providing a timely schedule. It's interacting with people, trying to stay on a positive note, making sure that any questions that I need to answer are answered, and if people don't understand, to kind of clarify. But just making sure that I'm at my best so that they get the best service out of King County Metro.
Good service, good customer service, good service is making everybody happy. Make myself happy, make the passengers happy, make the company happy.
I think it's very important for the customers because they feel good riding with us because they have too many choice. But if they find a good customer service, they want to ride with us.
The advice I'd give to new drivers to be patient.